Hello, everyone. Look, a fresh paragraph of Latin. Now, in this paragraph, of course, we had Pliny's modus operandi, how he was operating with regard to the Christians. And here he's going to get into some more details of what he saw, what he found, and still very interesting. So you have your subject at the beginning of a clause, right? Of course, as always. And then I'm going to go to the end of my clause. It's right there. Dixerent. Here's my conjunction.
Clause by clause.
Others said. Perfect verb. Others said. You're going to have an accusative subject here. Oh, brain verb, accusative subject, infinitive. Yes. Do you remember how you translate indirect statement? Very good. Brain verb, subject accusative, infinitive. Others said, inferior conjunction, that they were Christians. And then you get this nice nominative participle. Others said that they were Christians, having been nominated by an ablative of agent. Ablative of agent. Now you can do this a couple ways. You can do all the nominative information first, like we've been doing. Others, having been named by a spy, said that they were Christians. So some people are admitting that indeed, at some point in time, they were Christians. And soon they denied. Denied being Christians. Now, currently, in respect to this investigation. A little hard, a little difficult. See, this is infinitive, right? What does the semicolon do? Semicolon joins independent clauses. So that means, or is implied, that there's a verb. There's a verb somewhere, but there isn't. There are just these infinitives. You have to infer a brain verb from the previous clause. In this case, it's dixerent. So you have to supply they say, or they said, excuse me. Perfect. They said that, and you have to infer this say again. They said that they had been. Had been what? Make the inference. Christian. They said that they had been Christian. Indeed, but another infinitive. And these perfect infinitives in secondary sequence with my past tense brain verb, they translate pluperfectly. They said that they had been Christians, indeed, but had stopped. So this is pretty fascinating, right? If you're interested at all in the history, the progression of Christianity, which is a really important movement in world history, you should be rather interested in this phenomenon. It's going to wipe out Pliny's way of life, right? The classical tradition. Pliny's going to see this, and you've already heard him discuss it, call it madness from up above. Madness. But he's staring in the face the destroyer of classical civilization, right? He doesn't see what's in front of him. He dismisses it. He's going to be dismissive, as you can already see. He doesn't understand it. Why? This movement, this religion he's confronting, represents the end of his way of life. The classical tradition. So, as he's dismissing them, he's going to describe them certainly negatively, pejoratively. What he doesn't seem to understand is that they're the end. They're the end of his worldview. I mean, point to the people who worship today the classical pantheon. It's not a major world religion, right? And it wasn't done on a battlefield. The success of Christianity isn't done through a series of battles or military conquest. It's one of the more pressing, important historical questions that we get to deal with in Latin. They said that they had been, indeed, but they stopped. So by 110, 112 CE, Pliny is encountering people who were Christians, but had stopped, had entered the faith, and then left. He's encountering people, non-Roman citizens, who are Christians. He's encountering Roman citizens, right? So by 110, 112, he is finding lots of evidence of different kinds of expressions. People who never were Christian, people who were but stopped, people who are so devout that they get crucified for their conviction. Right? Wide range of expressions here. Some before 3 years, some before many years, not no one even before 20. This is just describing the people who were doing the Dixerent, right? This is nominative, nominative, nominative. So it's just describing people who are doing this reporting, the people he's encountering. So who's saying this? How many? What are the numbers? A modern might prefer with these kinds of questions, maybe a more kind of statistical breakdown, but Pliny doesn't give us that. He just says, with this indefinite, some, a certain number, before 3 years, some, before many years, not no one even yet before 20. So it gives us a 20-year range, which, if you recall from one of our previous videos when we talked about St. Ignatius, if this is in the 110s, 112, right here with Pliny, that would put that right in the time frame with St. Ignatius of Antioch, 20 years-ish into the 90s. So it kind of fits some historians' historical timeline here. Again, there's a lot of disagreement, and we've mentioned in previous videos which authors you can go read if you are more interested in these kinds of questions. He. Hi. Masculine nominative plural. Good. Masculine nominative plural. Hopefully your minds were going there. It's at the beginning of the clause, so if it is a nominative form, it has a good chance of being a nominative form, and it is. And it is. So, again, there's my subject. Now I'm going to my verb at the end of my clause. There it is. See? There's my conjunction from here to here. I put those two things together. Now you might look at this word. You might look at this word, venerati sunt, and think you have a passive voice. A passive voice. But you don't. You have a deponent verb. It's a deponent verb. So it's going to look passive, translate active. Li. These people worshipped. Oh. That looks like it's probably a subject. But I have this et here. This is kind of confusing. What should I do? If it doesn't work right away, just start over. Don't try to force it, right? Found that, oh, there's this omnes and this quoque. If you find that you're going along, even if you're doing it correctly, still you might have to go back and modify what you're doing. All these too, all of these as well, worshipped. Both, when you have et and et like this, it's going to be both and. All of these as well worshipped your image and the statues of the gods. And they cursed Christ. They cursed the Anointed One. That's pretty easy. That's pretty easy. A lot of repetition from that previous paragraph. That's nice. And that's a good place to stop for this video.